Hi, and welcome to the Des Moines Real Estate Show. I'm Jim Hibbs, and today I've got a special guest from Vizzi, a photography outfit here in the Des Moines area that most of the realtors, I know I use Vizzi. Brent, Bult. Brent, you are the Regional Sales Director. We're going to talk photography today.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a very important part of the whole real estate gig. You were actually a realtor at one time.
I was a realtor, yes, for 6 years in Kentucky and Tennessee.
So how important is that visual, that first visual for that buyer?
Oh man, first impressions are everything.
Yeah.
We know that.
And we're going to talk about that, the top 5 things you need to know. But first, let's take a look at the market here in the Des Moines area. These are the numbers per the multiple listing service, 3,416 homes on the market over the last 7 days. And if you're watching this in February, you know over the last 7 days, seems like we've had like 10 snowstorms. We're nearing a record, but still action out in the real estate world. 214 homes new onto the market, 34 back into the market. Deals have gone south for one reason or another. Generally, the financing is the issue there. 142 price decreases, 11 increases. Again, those are generally new construction. 245 deals folks have reached agreement, buyers and sellers have reached agreement over the last 7 days. And look at that number, 193 homes have been sold. They closed over the last 7 days. So a very active market, even as this winter we have had a very active snowfall. And it continues to fall. Makes it challenging from a photography standpoint. Let's say you have a home that in early January, we still had a little bit of green back then, Brent.
Yeah.
And so you're taking pictures in early January. Now we have over a foot of snow in the Des Moines area. But I want you to know that the number one thing when it comes to selling a home today, that first impression that a buyer has. And Brent, you're with Vizzi. Tell us a little bit about Vizzi.
Vizzi is a nationwide company that offers media solutions generally for real estate agents all across the nation, as I said, in 16 states right now. One of our major hubs is the Des Moines market.
Yeah.
But we also have a market in New York City as well as in Fresno, California, and numerous other metropolitan areas.
And we mentioned that you've got a real estate background, so you understand that part of it, but also a photography background. Tell us about that.
Well, I picked up a camera as I was a teenager, as most photographers probably start out. But eventually it led to getting a BFA in photography at the University of Iowa. And then led to me moving out here to Des Moines to work for Vizzi as their lead photographer in the Des Moines Metro. I did that for about 4 years before coming into my current role.
Let's talk about the top 5 things that homeowners that are thinking about selling or already have that house on there. What's number 1? Why is photography important?
Oh, first impressions, as we said earlier. I think the statistic is something like 87% of buyers look online first before they reach out to a realtor. And so without photos, you have about 2 to 3 seconds to capture their attention. And with photos, it's about 10 times as much, 20 to 30 seconds. So NAR gives some great stats on that. But of course, professional photography and video now is hugely important in that first impression that buyers are getting, especially as the buyers are now younger.
Yeah.
And that's all they do.
Vizzi shoots professionally shot you have professional photographers shooting the photos.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Every one of our photographers has a photography background, whether they've considered themselves professionals in the past. Once they start working with us, they are professional. We have a great training program that we put everybody through so that our standards are right there, the same with every single shoot. Yeah. And everybody has professional DSLR equipment and lenses as well.
And that helps that photograph pop, whether they're looking on a phone. And you got to think about that too. People are using their phones, seeing impressions for the first time, or a laptop, or at home. What else do folks need to understand about pictures and getting ready to sell their home?
Well, I can mainly speak from experience of being a photographer, and I would say number 1, be prepared. Be ready for that shoot. Don't be moving things around last minute as a photographer shows up. Of course, that's inevitable sometimes. But if you know that a listing's coming up and you've got to shoot, be ready for it. Don't be moving boxes here and there, and that can just, it can just create a not as opportune photo or moment.
Yeah. And sometimes too, you need to be prepared. If you, again, I talked about it at the beginning. You go out in early January and you've listed your home, and we could see the ground back then, and now you have a different environment with the snow, and hopefully, knock on wood, that snow will go away. You want to make sure that those photographs are seasonal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to have a photo that looks like it's possibly been sitting on the market for a long time.
Yeah.
So it is important to have those seasonal photographs done, and if the house happens to go through a snowstorm or something like that, and then the weather changes and it greens back up, get those reshoots done.
Yeah.
Talk to your realtor about getting those done.
That's what you need to do. You need to make sure that realtor's keeping updated photos for you
right.
online. Another thing too, and you offer a number of products, and we talked about younger folks, Matterport, the ability to walk through a home, that's part of the technology today. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Within the last 3 years or so, it's really ramped up in the real estate industry nationwide. Here in the Des Moines Metro, we've seen a huge uptick in orders for Matterport walkthroughs, which is basically virtual reality or a 3D walkthrough that's interactive. So instead of the potential buyer watching a video about the property, they're actually interacting with the product, and they're choosing where they go in the house. So it's really quite fantastic.
Number 5, and something that I have found, it's amazing to me, the difference. When you look at a home that's vacant, let's say you have new construction, or maybe somebody has already moved out, that empty house is harder to sell. Maybe they don't want to actually put furniture in the home. You can help with that. You can help us stage a home virtually.
We can, yeah. The key would be that it's vacant. Well, the process is fairly simple and quick. Of course, you have us come take your photos, and then once the realtor gets the photos from us, they choose which ones that they would like to virtually stage. And then they're sent some information online as to what to pick out. They can leave it up to us and our editors to choose what to do. But more than likely, they pick out kind of what they like, and they send us those options. We take care of it in Photoshop and some other more technical editing software techniques there.
You guys have all the bells and whistles there.
Yep. Lucky for me, it's not me who's doing it. I'm the one who's selling the product, but we've got a great team behind us that they're all trained in doing that. And then the turnaround is pretty quick, and you get those photos back, and it looks just like real furniture.
Yeah, and we're showing you some of the photos there, the before, empty, and then after. It really does make a difference in this visual world we live in. Video is very important. You can talk to Vizzi about drones and getting those aerials and things like that. There's just we live in a visual world today.
Yep, absolutely.
We've got to get those pictures and tell that visual story of your home. Brent, any other tips before we go?
As far as when talking about being prepared, that's kind of all-inclusive. One of the things that you want to know is less is more. Sometimes people, even agents, don't realize that there's a lot of clutter in a house. You live with it, you get used to it. And so most agents are very well educated on getting that house ready for showings. But even for photography, it's more important to have less is more. Maybe watch out for some of the things on the fridge, like magnets, stuff like that you could definitely have for a showing if you'd like. But it makes a big difference for photography because we only got one shot at it. So.
Yeah. And clear off the countertops. Make sure you don't have anything on the countertops. I've seen it. Don't leave the laundry on top of the on top of that washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Well, Brent, thank you very much. You guys do an excellent job for my clients. I appreciate everything you do. You make every home visually stunning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. And thank you for joining us today for the Des Moines Real Estate Show. Get out there and make the most of the day.